Good morning, dear students. Hope you all enjoy your quarantine, staying at home and learning your lessons. Am I right? Okay, fine. Without wasting time, let's move on. This session is going to transport you all to the world of fantasy, which you all loved to live again. So, are you ready? Here we go. Good times and crazy friends make the best memories. We always enjoy our memories behind us, friends beside us, and dreams before us. With the passage of time, one feels more attached to this childhood, the best period of a man's life. The charm of childhood cannot be forgotten. These memories have everlasting impression in one's life. Just recall the joyful rainy season when puddles became our playgrounds and all those funny ways we tried to escape the splash every time. But the inevitable, always it happened. And those friends who made us laugh even at the time of getting punishment. That pleading voice of our dear friend in the exam hall asking for one-word answer. That quiet excitement of going to the library, especially cutting the language classes. That whoosh sound of the librarian when we break the silence of the library, cracking jokes. Our longest wait for the lunch break. Passing important messages of our friends from one bench to another, especially when the teacher is busy writing on the board. All those funny pillow fights of our hostel friends. That embarrassing moment when accidentally switching on the classroom fan. That yummy arm season when our brother becomes our best friend. Enjoying that favorite smell of wet mud and ginger tea in the rainy season. All those time of quick prayer on the way to the exam hall. All those cute and funny punishments of our physical education trainers. The worst way to be wakened by the teacher from a nap. That one favorite teacher who always tells us stories during class. Capturing that victorious moment with our friends in a photo. All those complicated maths of setting the alarm clock. Playing the role of assistant to our teachers by carrying their props. Rare and privileged visit to the staff room. Proud moment of being chosen to be the class monitor, being the bearer of good news, free period, lying down on the desk and listening to the world beneath, the thrill of gearing up for the drill, that little pleasure bought with a tiny coin, and those enjoyable moments when the whole class coming together to make our major, that 11th hour of preparation, checking the portions to study just before the exam. All those mixed feelings of the last exam before holidays. The list goes on and on. We all have to cherish these childhood memories forever. Toru Dutt was such a young poetess who added a charm to her childhood memories and made them immortal through her wonderful poem called Our Casuarina Tree. I'm sure that you all will also recall your childhood memories when you go through this poem. Now, let's have a quick look of the poetess of this poem. Charulata Dutt, also known as Toru, was born to a Bengali family on March 4, 1856 in erstwhile Calcutta. She was the youngest of 3 children of the high caste of Hindu couple in Bengal. She came from a liberal family where education, art and linguistics were encouraged. Her father, Babu Govind Chandra Dutt, was himself distinguished among his countrymen for the worth of his views and vigor of his intelligence. Her mother, Kshetramoni Mitra, who loved Hindu mythology, translated an English book, The Blood of Christ, to Bengali. In 1862, after the death of his older brother Kishan, Govind Chandra Dutt and his family embraced Christianity. The early death of her older brother Abju at the age of 14 profoundly affected her father, who became quite protective of his 2 daughters. Toru and her older sister Auru were never left alone and accompanied their father wherever he went. In 1869, the family moved to France. Govind Dutt was determined to give his daughters the best possible education. Sometime later, the family moved to Britain, where Toru pursued her education in Cambridge. Along with her, continued French lessons. Both the sisters were well instructed in music, especially the piano. Toru Dutt was well versed in Bengali, French, and English. She soon began to write poems in the latter two languages. Upon returning to India, she dedicated herself to studying Sanskrit and getting back to her roots. Her first publication was when she was only 18 in the Bengal magazine. She is known for her volumes of poetry in English like A Sheaf Gleaned in French Fields and Ancient Ballads and Legends of Hindustan. Ancient Ballads and Legends of Hindustan reveals how evenly shadowy figures of legends can come alive when romantically treated. As for Toru Dutt, she rendered several French poems into delightful English words. This daughter of Bengal, so admirably and so strangely gifted, Hindu by race and tradition, an English woman by education, a French woman by heart, poet in English, prose writer in French. In 1874, Oro fell into a series of health troubles and passed away. Highlighting her sense of loss at her sister's death, Toru composed the poem Our Casuarina Tree, which became a symbol of her happy childhood memories. She personified the Casuarina tree with the essence of her dead siblings, thus hoping to preserve their memories through her poem. Toru paid her debt to nature, leaving her parents totally deserted and depressed at the age of 21 on 30th August 1877, and left behind her imperishable legacy. Our Casuarina Tree is an autobiographical touch. Here, Toru Dutt presents Casuarina Tree as a symbolic representation of India. The tree, the motherly character, plays the role of heaven. It harbors and nurtures the animals and human beings. Here, the Casuarina Tree symbolizes the uniqueness of India, unity in diversity, that is well stated by quoting the varied multitude that coexisted under the tree. To know more about it, let's move on to the poem Our Casuarina Tree, written by Toru Dutt. Dear students, hope you enjoy the story of the tree. I hope you all know what is Casuarina tree, isn't it? It's a tree with slender joint drooping twigs that resemble horsetails and bear tiny scale-like leaves. It is native to Australia and it is a valuable source of timber and firewood. Let's learn the poem now. Our Casuarina Tree, written by Toru Dutt. In this poem, the poetess talks about the tree that grew in her courtyard and her memories associated with it. She just recollects her childhood memories of the Casuarina tree here. The poem opens with a description of the tree. The poem starts like this. Like a huge python winding round and round, the rugged trunk indented with scars. Up to its very summit near the stars. Here python means a very large snake that kills animals for food by wrapping itself around them and crushing them. Rugged in the sense very rough, strong. Indented means divided. Scars means marks. Summit in the sense top. Here, how does the poetess describe the tree? She describes the tree as tall and strong. It has grown in such a way that it seems like it touches the stars. Like huge python winding round and round, the rugged trunk indented deep with scars. Actually, the poetess does not talk about python here. She just compares python with a creeper. Here, what is creeper? Creeper means a small delicate plant which always depends on other plant to grow. First stanza, she imagines the rugged trunk of a tree to a huge python winding round and round. Like python, it rolls the tree and climbs up. Climbs up means growing upward with a gradual and continuous progress. Up to its very summit near the stars. That means the creeper has grown in such a way that it has divided deep with scars up to the top of the tree. A creeper climbs in whose embrace is bound no other tree could live. Here embraces means holds tightly. Bound means limit. The poetess tells that the tree is strong enough to continue growing despite the scars on its trunk. And despite all this, it provides support to the creeper. Here the poetess points out one thing. That is, she says, no other tree could live. The creeper has wrapped up the tree in such a way that it would hinder the growth of any tree. It is the Casuarina tree, that's why it survives, because it is very strong. It not only survives but also supports the creeper. Though the creeper makes marks on it, it still provides support to the creeper. But gallantly, the giant wears the scarf and flowers are hung in crimson clusters all the boughs among. Here gallantly means bravely. Clusters in the sense bunch of flowers. Crimson means it's a mixture of blue and red color. Boughs means branches. Here the poetess compares the tree to the giant and the creepers to the scarf. Scarf means you know, isn't it? It's a piece of cloth which can be worn about the shoulders, around the neck or over the head. The description of the tree here is very beautiful. Here the tree is like a giant standing tall and strong, and crimson flowers of the creeper makes the tree appear like as if it is wearing a colorful scarf. A beautiful description indeed, isn't it? Whereon all day are gathered bird and bee. That means throughout the day the birds and bees gather around the tree. Torudat describes that her Casuarina tree is a haven for the winged birds and insects, almost visibly alive with the buzz of bees and with the chirping of birds. And oft at nights the garden overflows with one sweet song that seems to have no close, sung darkling from our tree while men repose. Here oft means often, darkling means in the dark, repose means state of rest. Here the poetess describes the Casuarina tree at the night time. Often, especially at the night time, the garden echoes and it seems to be jubilant, and the song of the nightingale has no end at all. The line, sung darkling from our tree while men repose means the bird sings sweetly and it has no end at all. It continues till dawn when all men take rest. Here the poetess enjoys the song of the birds, which is sung from the tree. It soothes its listeners and it has a tranquilizing effect on men who relax and rest as the birds sing. In stanza 2, the poetess goes on to tell us about the morning scene in the childhood when she would wake up to the side of the Casuarina tree. We can also say that it tip leads to the pictorial and visual imagery of the tree. Stanza starts like this. When first my casement is wide open thrown at dawn, my eyes delighted on it rest. Here casement is a type of window that is fixed on one side and opens like a door. Dawn is the time in the morning when the first ray of the sunlight falls on the ground. Delighted means pleasure, joy. Here she describes her feeling at dawn. She says, at dawn when she opens her window, she is delighted to see her Casuarina tree. Sometimes and most in winter on its crest, a grey baboon sits statue like alone watching the sunrise. Here you all know what is baboon is. Baboon is a large monkey which can be found in Africa. Crest means head of the tree, top of the tree. Here she says, whether it is summer or winter, her morning would remain incomplete without the sight of the Casuarina tree. Why does she say that her morning would remain incomplete? Actually, what does she see through her casement? She says, mostly in winter season, sometimes a grey monkey is seen sitting on the crest of the tree, top of the tree, watching sunrise. While on lower boughs, his puny offsprings leap about and play. Here boughs means branches, puny means little, offsprings means younger ones, young monkeys. Here she enjoys watching the young monkeys leaping and playing in the branches of the tree. And far and near, kokilas hail the day. In this line, far and near means here and there. Kohila. What is kohila? It's a type of bird similar to the cuckoo which sings sweetly. From her casement, she finds kokilas sitting here and there on the branches of the tree, making the day pleasant by their sweet songs. She just enjoys the sunrise as the kokila begins to greet the day with its song and mesmerizes her. And to their pastures went our sleepy cows. Here pastures means a large ground where the plants are grown for the feeding, especially of grazing animals. Went means stroll. Stroll means walking in a leisurely manner. Here she admires the sleepy cows strolling on the pasture. And in the shadow on the broad tank cast by that hoar tree so beautiful and vast, the water lilies spring like snow mashed. Here hoar means white frost on the tree. Mashed means altogether. And in the shadow on the broad tank cast means the shadow of the tree appears to fall on the huge water tank. How does the water tank look like? It looks so beautiful and vast. Vast means very big. By that hoar tree so beautiful and vast, the water lilies spring like snow mashed. What does the poetess find in the water tank? She finds water lilies everywhere. She describes the pond which is filled with water lilies. She says, the water lilies spring everywhere in the pond and it looks like snow is gathered in the pond. And this is how she beautifully describes the sight of the Casuarina tree from her casement. In the third stanza, the poetess tells us why she holds the Casuarina tree dear. But not because of its magnificent. Dear is the Casuarina to my soul. Here, magnificent means very impressive. In this stanza, Torudutt establishes that it is neither the stateliness of the tree nor its external beauty that make her very close to the Casuarina tree. It is not just the impressive appearance of the Casuarina tree that draws her to it, but there is an emotional bond to the tree as well. Why does she feel that emotional bond with the tree? In the next 3 lines, she reveals the reason. Beneath it we have played, though years may roll, O sweet companions, loved with love intense. For your sakes shall the tree be ever dear. Here intense means very great, strong feeling. Why does she feel that the tree is very close to her? Because she had spent happy moments under the tree, playing, chatting, fighting, and planning with her siblings and friends. Though they belonged to different sects, they were one in nature under the giant tree's canopy. That's why she says, for your sakes shall the tree be ever dear. Here they refers to her friends and siblings. She holds her childhood friends in great regard, and the tree is a symbol of the experiences they had. And here, Torudutt brings out the theme of nature as something that shares feelings with humans, that lightens the burden on the heart. Blent with your images, it shall arise in memory, till the hot tears blind mine eyes. Here, in these lines, the poetess continues with the description of how strong the image of tree is, even when in lands far away. Here Torudutt had seen bitter struggle for life and death, untold miseries after the death of her beloved brother and sister. And the tree is a part of Torudutt's existence, a reminder of family ties. So she says, in her memory, the tree laments till it blinds her eyes with its hot tears. Out of sorrow, she cries in such a way that the tears blinds her eyes. What is that dirge like murmur that I hear, like the sea breaking a shingle beach? Here, dirge means a song of grief, lamentation. Shingle beach means rocky beach. Torudutt says she can hear the trees lament even from where she studies. Even from France and Italy, she can hear the tree lamenting. She even communicates with the tree, even when she is in a far-off land, as she can hear the tree lamenting her absence. It is the tree's lament in the eerie speech that happily to the unknown land may reach. In the last two lines, she points out the strange lament of the tree that can perhaps be heard, or even it reaches the unknown lands. Here the poetess beautifully describes the sea breaking on a shingled beach, that is, on a pebble-covered rocky beach, produces a ringing, rattling sounds, which sounds like a song of grief. She also says that she can hear the lament of the tree from the distant lands across the ocean. The entire stanza beautifully portrays the strong bond between Toruduth and the Casuarina tree. Dear students, you can find the attachment of glossary here. Kindly try to learn it. Let's learn the second half of the poem in the next session. Till then, take care.